Hey guys, I'm Elliot. This is Everything Elliot. And I'm still in the maintenance mood. If you saw my last video, you know I maintained my tractor. This video, I've got my 2017 F350 6.7 Powerstroke behind me. And we're gonna be working on this today. Again, Theodore is supervising. But we're gonna be doing oil filter, and fuel filter today. So I've got the hood popped because before I put it up in the air, I want to get the fuel cap open. The fuel cap, the oil cap. I want to get the oil cap open. I'm gonna get this truck up in the air and we're gonna get a move on. So with the truck successfully balancing up in the air, it's time to get the oil out of this thing. And let me tell you something, if you don't know something about Powerstrokes, well, that's your oil drain right there, and that is gonna come out of there like it's angry at you. So be ready for it. But I did just drive my truck, so it is super hot. That's another thing we're gonna be fighting here. It's gonna make a mess. Oh, look at that. Not a drop on the, oh, I lied to you. There is a drop on the ground. All right, let's let that drain. If you're wondering why it's so nice and black underneath my truck, it's because I actually undercoat the entire thing with wool wax black. So you might be looking under your truck and you're like, man, my truck isn't black like this. I undercoat the entire thing every year, twice a year. And this is the result you get. A little bit there from the springs, in between the springs, but that's to be expected. You can't spray in between the springs. The axle housing, or pumpkin, is really nice and dry, but it is also raining today, so that's why things look a little wet. But you can just see what a nice job it does. This truck is going on 5 years old. And it's lived its entire life in Western New York. So it's in really good shape, only because I undercoat it. I prefer to use Motorcraft filters on my truck. However, you cannot get Motorcraft filters anywhere. It's ridiculous. So I had to go with the old CarQuest warrant. I had to go with the CarQuest brand. So if you're looking for Motorcraft parts for the 6.7, the oil filter number is FL2051S. And this is gonna make a mess too, it always does. Leaks down the side of the filter. If you've got a better way to get this filter off without making a mess, leave a comment below. I would love to know what it is. I just popped my oil filter gasket off of there. Don't forget to take that off if it stays on. You don't want to do double gaskets. Theo, don't drink the oil. So, if you get a CarQuest brand filter, it's going to be part number R84151. Again, not my preferred choice, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go take this filter, I'm gonna fill it up with oil, and then we'll slap it back on there. So with the oil filter filled back up, ever so gingerly, put it back in there. Oil filter doesn't need to be crazy tight. You just snug it up. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll show you in a second once I put this cap in. Stop, Theo. You hit the camera, it knocked the gimbal off. People are like, Elliot's upside down right now. You're a hot mess. Stop with the camera tripod. So like I was saying, we got to wipe that up, but it is on there. Oil filter's done. Old oil is out. While the truck's in the air, we're going to do the fuel filter that's underneath. The fuel filter is just in front of the tank. So this is going to be your fuel filter right here. This is your first fuel filter. Fuel comes out of the tank, goes through this, and then goes to the one under the hood. So first thing we're going to be doing is opening up your water separator. drain any water out of it, disconnect this plug, and then there are either 8 or 10 millimeter bolts. This plug is just a push release, comes right off. All right, looks like straight fuel's coming out, so that's all we need. No water in there, that's good to know. And it looks like somebody put some food coloring in my fuel. That's strange, I'll have to keep an eye on my truck. I don't know why somebody would do that. So confirmed this is 8 mil. That's why we leave the spill pan underneath. So if you're doing this at home, it might be a wise idea to drain some more out of this separator. It looks like it's slowing down, but it sounds like it's suctioning, like it's siphoning from my tank, because I can hear it glugging in the tank. We're gonna see if we can break that suction just by letting this thing down. Okay. All the screws are out and the siphon has stopped. They're not screws, they're bolts. The bolts don't come out, they actually stay in the housing. With all them loose, this filter should come right out. I don't know why I keep saying screw. Oh, Elliot. Voila! There's your fuel filter. Dump all the fuel out of it. This filter, it just goes to the side. There's an arrow on here. It says removal this way, install this way. Just give it a tap, and it comes right out. Still nice and clean in there. Again, I don't know why somebody put food dye in my diesel fuel. So we've got the old gasket out. So I'll put the new gasket in first. Doesn't matter which way this gasket goes in. Just give it a push around the entire thing. Make sure the gasket is nice and seated. And you'll get your new filter out. And if you'll notice, this filter's got this like nipple on the end here. And if you look inside, it's also got that nipple on the end there. So I believe you can deduce that that's the way it needs to go in. Well, it'll be that nipple, but either way, same difference. So same deal, line it everything up, put it in there, and slide it over. This just goes back up. This needs to line up with the hole that's in there. So make sure you're doing a decent job at that. These don't need to be crazy tight. They just need to be race tight, quarter pass tight, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why it was on there so tight last time I did it. And if you're wondering, I do this every other oil change, so every 10,000 miles. And you might say, well, that's too much. You don't need to do it that often. And you know what I'd say back to you? Well, it's my truck, not yours. Why do you care? My money, not yours. That's good and tight. Let's, don't forget to plug your water and fuel sensor back in. Now we can set the truck down. All right, so we've got everything done underneath the truck. I feel like I have diesel on my face. Now we need to do the oil, new oil in the truck, and put a new fuel filter under the hood. This truck has 2 fuel filters on it, and I recommend you do them both at the same time. I don't know why you wouldn't, but that's my recommendation. So this truck takes, I believe it's 13 quarts of oil. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just put oil in there. I'm using Shell Rototiller T4. This is on Ford's recommended list if you're not using Motorcraft. So I done goofed. I bought 2 gallons of oil because I have a spare one here. You need 3 gallons and then 1 extra quart. I'm gonna be a gallon shy, which is not great. And I had to drive about 35 minutes to the nearest store to get it. So this is disappointing. I can't believe I did that. I don't know why I only bought 2 gallons and not 3. You know, people say to me, they're like, Elliot, why do you film these videos? Everything always goes wrong. So I want to put this cap on here. Not because I'm done putting oil in, because I need a whole other gallon and a quart. And we're gonna move on to the fuel filter. So the fuel filter is gonna be that thing right there with the 3 hoses coming off of it. Let's see if I can get them off here. Squeeze, this one squeezes. You squeeze and then push down, get it all the way out of the way. This next one, it's like a puzzle. This one you pull back and push out of the way. But there's 2 sides to it, so you gotta get your fingers, which is really hard to do. All right, so the thumb and the index finger is the trick. So then you just pull off. It's pretty important you get nothing in these. Why are you not coming off? You know, if it's not one thing, it's another. All right, I gotta set the camera down and get this one off. Why will this last clip not come off? I don't wanna force it and break it. That would be bad. That would not be good. That would not be good. That would not be good. Again, people say to me, why do you film these if things go wrong? And I just broke that connection. And then this just comes out of there. It twists out. Let me go dump the diesel out of this. So as you can see here, the hose broke off this connector, which shouldn't be too bad of a fix, but we have to find out why this is stuck on here. All right, so problem number 2. Well, problem number 1 is I didn't get enough oil. Problem number 2 is now I got this broken connection. And that's fine. I believe this is just the return line, so it's low pressure, I think. I don't know. I mean, even with a screwdriver, it won't pry off. There, now it decides to come off. Well, I'm gonna do some research, see if I can get this end. Well, that's gonna be it for today. I gotta get some parts because I screwed up, but stuff happens and that's part of life. So I'm gonna get some parts. Hopefully they're here tomorrow and we can finish this video up. So here's the scoop. I went and got more oil, so I'll be able to finish the oil service on this truck. And I did some research, and after doing some research, I'm not as mad at myself as I was yesterday. It seems that this is a pretty common issue with these trucks, and a lot of guys are saying, hey, if you change your own fuel filters, you should actually keep one of these clips on hand. It is not offered from Ford. You have to buy the entire fuel return line just to get that clip. However, there's a company out of I don't know what it was, Tennessee or something like that, that makes these clips and you're able to purchase them. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna have mine for 4 days, which is a bummer because my truck's gonna be down for 4 days, but I don't really need my truck in those 4 days, which I guess is a good thing. So I'm gonna finish putting the oil in so I don't forget to do that. And then when the new part comes in for the fuel filter, we'll be able to put that in. Oh, and if you're looking for that part, I'll leave the link in the description below. So the part has finally come in, made in China, but what can I do? We're back and we're gonna get it fixed. Now, from my understanding, we're just gonna have to take this line, cut it back a little bit, get that nipple out, the barbed end nipple, and then we'll be able to put the new barb in there. So that's the little barb that broke off. You can see the new part versus the old. That barb broke off inside the hose. So we're gonna cut that hose back a little bit, pull the barb out, snip the hose from the cut portion, and then insert this new barb. So feel for the bottom of the barb, which is right here, and we'll just cut it. Wow. We got to try to get the new barb in here. And since it's nice and cold in my shop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my heat gun and just warm this up a little bit. That way it's a little more malleable, and I can get that barb in there without breaking it and making a mess. Again, it's not so hot. Look, I can hold on my hand there. It's not crazy hot. You just want to warm it up. So you take the new barb fitting, simply just put it in there. Be gentle. It started. I'm gonna grab some oil and put some oil around this. That way it slides on easy. All right, there she is. She's all the way in. So now we're gonna reinstall that clamp guard thing, whatever they wanna call it. And it just clips on like that. I don't know exactly what that does, but it comes with it, so we're putting it on there. I'm gonna make sure that's open. So now it's time to get our new fuel filter and install our new fuel filter. So again, the new fuel filter just goes in there. And it's a twist lock, so you have to push it down. Get your hoses out of the way a little bit. And it twists and locks into place. Reinstall your hose, don't forget the locks. Yeah, make sure it pushes on all the way. And finally, the one that we just fixed. Come on, baby. Don't do me like that. Your pail didn't want to come off. Now you don't want to go on. What's up with that? You know what the problem solver is for everything? A little lube. A little motor oil on here. There is an O-ring in here. I'm assuming it's just a little dry, so we'll get some lube on there. Lube makes everybody happy. Let's try this again. Come on. There we go. Hear that positive click? Make sure it's in there and lock it down. Finally, the fuel filters are in. All right, so now we need to go through the process of starting the truck. So if you own a diesel truck and you're doing this, you should know that you need to prime the fuel system before it'll start. If you don't prime it, it'll just crank and crank and crank, and I mean, it might eventually start, but basically all you have to do is turn the key on, let the fuel pump prime, turn the key off, turn the key on, and we'll do that. Get my key here. So, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. I like to do it 5 times. Cycle 4. And you just gotta leave it on for like 15 seconds. Cycle 5. We'll wait for the glow plug to go off and try it. There you go. She's up and running. Now, let's get it outside before I smoke out my shop. Oh, it is snowing today. Gonna check for leaks. I don't see anything leaking, which is great. Sounds good. You know how they say a 10-minute project is one broken bolt away from being a 3-day ordeal. Well, in my case, a 10-minute project turned into a 5-day ordeal due to a broken barb fitting, I guess you want to call it, a quick neck barb fitting. And unfortunately, Ford doesn't sell just the barb fitting, so you have to go outside. You have to buy it on Amazon or some other website. I will leave the link in the description to the part that I used. You can see it worked for me, it'll work for you. Hey, what are you doing? You can't just be on top of the truck like that. Oh, now you're gonna clean yourself on top of the truck. That's pretty rude. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope this helped you out. I know it turned into something I didn't think it was gonna turn into, but I'm glad we got it fixed. Truck is back up and running. I'm gonna leave it idle outside and warm up because it hasn't run in a couple days. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment below. I'll do my best to help you out. Check out some of my other videos. You might find something you like. And did you know only like 1% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed? I mean, it's cool that you watch my videos, but it would help me out if you subscribed. I would appreciate that. It would tell me I'm doing a decent job, probably not a great job, but that's neither here nor there. Until the next video, hope you guys have a great day.